Hi, creators. Hi, friends. How are you doing? I wanted to come by and check in and see how you're doing. Um, I've been speaking to artists, creators, songwriters every single day of the week. Absolutely every single day of the week, having conversations, checking in, seeing how people are doing. I work with a lot of singer-songwriters. I mentor them and emerging singer-songwriters, established singer-songwriters, and having conversations with them around how they're managing with the isolation and the lockdown, and having brand new conversations with people who really want and need some support right now. And one thing that I'm noticed coming up now, it's been about a month in lockdown for everybody, is that there's that sense of feeling alone. Can anyone relate to that? I mean, that's a really silly question, I suppose. I suppose everybody can relate to that in some way. And I want to talk about, I want to share with you actually how I suppose moved past this feeling many years ago. I remember personally for myself, I'd broken up from a long-term relationship, and I, really felt alone. And I think everyone can relate to that in some point in their life, feeling alone. And I went through a journey. So this was sort of the beginning of like my songwriting every single week. And when I was writing and I was really connected to that sense of, for creators, so that sense of flow, that creative flow, that source energy, that universal energy, you know what I'm talking about, right? When I was connected to that, I felt connected to unlimited feelings of love and connection. And then when I was away from that, I would feel the sense of aloneness and loneliness, and my heart, would feel anxious around where I was going to feel that again. And so it was by every single week tapping into that creative energy, that creative source, that I started to actually get used to learning how to turn that tap on to that creative source, that universal source, that energy. And that's where I learned for myself. This is big picture stuff, right? This is where I learned for myself that that sense of love and acceptance actually comes from self. And it's in that space of creating that I could tap into that sense of self-love, that sense of self-acceptance, that sense of wellness, that sense of I am absolutely okay and I am absolutely enough. And I truly think that if I hadn't been creating every single week, now, I'm not talking about creating something that's really good or creating something that's useful. Well, actually, creating is useful, but something that would be used. I don't mean like that's what I was trying to do. It was just the actual practice of tapping into that source for me and my person that gave me the resilience to be able to be okay with life. And this is like 5.5 years later, this practice. And in this time, I live alone. I am alone in the physical isolation sense, but I feel so connected to an unlimited energy. And I know a lot of people would say, Francesca, you've got all this energy, you've got so much energy, and you're so passionate, excited, whatever the word is that you use. I feel that sense of energy for myself because I feel tapped into that source, that connection, and I do it through creating. And I know that that's like, it's almost like creating is like kind of like the plug in the wall where I just like plug in and I get zapped down with this really cool energy. And sometimes, if you're not used to going into that space regularly, it can actually feel like I've got to go through that process. I've got to tap into that, and it feels like work, right? But when you start doing it regularly, it starts to really feed you and feed your soul and help you tap into that self-love. And for those people who are feeling alone, for those people who are creators, and I truly believe everyone is a creator, I wanted to share that with you and my journey. And it's not a one size fits all, absolutely not. But you've got to find what works for you, absolutely. But that creative source, that creative energy has completely transformed my life and my sense of okayness, my sense of I am completely enough. I love who I am and what I'm here to do. And I feel okay with myself. I feel empowered within myself. So if that inspires you, if you want to, challenge that feeling of feeling lonely and alone and not, receiving that love from anybody else, or, because we physically can't hug people, kiss people, hold hands, touch, then I would invite you to check in with creativity, because for me, that's where I feel that completely unlimited sense of possibility. And I want to invite you to that space and see what it feels like for you. If this has been really helpful for you, let me know. And this is a journey, and whilst you might do it once and it might feel good, it's about doing it over and over and being consistent with that so that it becomes how you live your life. Thanks so much for listening. This is really big picture stuff. And for those who've heard this, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for hearing what I have to share. I really wish you all the best on your creative journey. And I'm thinking of everybody right now. Thanks, everyone.